Hey everyone, in today's episode, we shall be learning how to draft a halter neck blouse. The measurements that we shall be working with are mentioned on the screen. We will go step by step and learn how to draft the entire blouse. I shall be using a 1/4 scale today to do this drafting because initially I had made the video on full size. However, the entire video went out of focus and I had to scrap all the clips. I'm learning how to shoot videos still, so I'm not very pro in it. Anyways, I will show you the full size pattern at the end, and I'm demonstrating how to do the drafting on 1/4 scale today. The process will be the same, but just that it would in 1/4 scale. If you do not know what a 1/4 scale is, I will show you. This is the 1/4 scale. It has inches on one side and centimeters on the other. We have a 1:4 ratio here. Let's dive into the video now. The pattern will not have any seam allowances. Start by marking straight lines across the sheet. On the shoulder line, mark full shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5 inches. The shoulder slant is 1¼ inches here. I'm taking the armhole depth of 7 inches for this side. This will also be the chest line. And we are drafting the front here. On this line, you will mark your full bust measurement plus 2 inches of ease divided by 4. I'm marking 9.3 inches here. We are adding ease because it is a closed neck and we shall be doing the deductions later as well. So please trust the process. And now let's do all the vertical measurements. We will use the center point of the shoulder to mark all the points, because I have taken all my measurements from the mid of my shoulder. If you use HSP for your measurements, you will follow the same here. You see me marking the bust, the underbust and the waistline here. Square all the lines and name them. On the bust line, I'll mark the apex to apex at 3.5 inches. And for marking the waist dart, we will deduct 3/4 of an inch from that and mark a point at 2.75 inches on the waistline. We will take a waist dart of 2 inches here. For those who have a bigger cup size, we'll take a dart of 2.5 inches. And equally for smaller cup size, 2 inches. This would only be applicable for 34 to 36 chest sizes. For smaller sizes, suppose 30 to 32 inches, we can take a dart of 1 and 1.5 inches respectively. But that is only if your blouse is not going to be a padded. If you're doing a padded blouse, then a minimum dart width should be 1.75 inches. Otherwise, your cups will not fit. And for bigger bust sizes like 38 and 40 inches, you must take a dart width of 2.75 up to 3 inches for the waist. We will come back to the waist dart a little later. Let's start with the armhole first. Even though it is a halter neck, we will first draft the basic bodice and then we will move on to transforming it into the halter. We took a shoulder of 7.5 inches. Now on your chest line, come in by 1/2 inch towards the center front and mark at 7. And at the midpoint of your armhole line, come in by 1 inch and mark a point at 6.5. Now join all the points and form your armhole curve. Now the waist measurement here is 29 inches divided by 4 plus 2 inch dart, and I'm marking at 9.25 inches. Join the lines for side front and your center front will be on fold. Your side seam line may go out or may come in like this according to your size. Do not worry, that is how it is supposed to be. For the waist dart curve, come out by 1/2 inch on the underbust line. You may divide this line into 4 equal parts and join it with a slight curve like how I'm showing you to make the bust dart. We are trying to mimic the bust curve here. And for a better fit, you must also cross-check your underbust measurement. My underbust is 28 inches plus 1/2 inch of ease for the underbust divided by 4 comes up to 7.1 inch and plus 2 inches of dart, which is 9.1 inch for the underbust measurement. I do not have much of a gap here, so I can make do with this. But if your difference between the underbust and waist is more than 2 or 3 inches, then the gap will be a lot more. Suppose if you have a 1/2 inch gap on the side, then you have to come out by 1/2 inch towards the center front. But if your gap is more than 1 inch, then you will come out by 1/2 inch towards the center front and 1/2 inch towards the side on the other dart leg. So this is to make a balance. And your dart will look something like this. But instead of a straight line, it would be in a little curve. Now it's time to make the armhole dart. The armhole dart for my size is 1¼ inches. Keep your measuring tape on the chest line and slide it to the point where the 0 point will touch your armhole curve. Follow how I am showing here. Divide the armhole dart by 2 and mark 0.6 inches on either sides of your marked point. Now join all these points to the apex point with straight lines. Your armhole dart is almost ready. We also have to take a small but very crucial dart of 1/4 inch on the center front. Do not miss this dart if you want your blouse to fit like a glove. So we have a total of 3 darts now. Let's move on to marking the armhole and the neck. I have taken a neck width of 3 inches, and for the neck depth you have to add another 1/4 inch to your neck width and make a curve shape. You shall be doing all these with your French curve or the armhole curve. And now you have to decide how much gap you want to show on this line, on this area. I prefer only 1/2 inch gap because I am not very comfortable showing. And if you want a deeper curve, you can come down by your choice of inches here. I shall be connecting it with this point. You have to measure the entire neck round because the collar will be attached here, so we have to note it down, and you will need it later for drafting your collar. I found 5 inches for my front neck round. It is including the 1/2 inch gap. So I'm cutting this off so that I can close all the darts now. And then I would slash this line here. But hey, wait, I missed measuring the darts. We have to measure all the darts and make sure that the dart legs are of same size. You will of course do it with a flexible tape. It would be easier for you. It is 5 inches long. Now place the 5 inch mark on the apex point and measure along the curve. As I'm using a straight scale, it is easier for me to measure from the bottom, but you will do it from the top. I have a gap of 1/2 inch, a difference of 1/2 inch. So we have to balance both the legs. And if you have a bigger dart, your difference would be more. As my gap is 1/2 inch here, I will come up by 1 inch on the sides. Because our sides are flat, if we do not reduce this extra length, the sides will droop down, just like this. Now join these 2 points with a straight line. This will be cut off. This will also be cut off, and this will also be cut off. This will also be cut off, but once the measuring is done. This portion will entirely be cut off, but we have to keep it for later use. It's time to recheck the armhole dart. This dart leg is 4.75 inches, so place that mark on the apex point and mark where it touches 0 on the other line. This line will go beyond the dart because the other leg is longer. We often do not check these darts, and hence while sewing our princess seams, they do not match. We have to come down by 1/2 inch on the side seam line to accommodate such a huge armhole dart that we have taken. If your gap here is 3/4 inch, then you have to come down by 3/4 inch, and vice versa. If your gap is 1/4 inch, then you will follow the same here. Now align the straighter side of the scale with the side seam and square a line like this. This will be our new armhole line. And on this line, you will align the scale with the side seam and slide it down and square a line here, like so. And we have our new armhole. In case of halter necks, many a times you will see a gaping along the armhole as it is quite deep, and also because it is cut on a bias. It might get stretched out. So I will take a small dart here as well to reduce the gaping. Just a 1/4 inch dart would be enough. And again we have to match both legs to make sure that they align properly. This is the neckline cut out. We will require this later for drafting the collar. I have slashed the armhole dart, the center dart, and I have center slashed the waist dart so that we can close the other darts easily. You will see that the dart we have taken of 2 inches has now become quite big. See, the difference has increased by 2.75 inches. So if you were wondering it would fit at all, now you may be sure that it will. Let's close the armhole dart now. And now we have to fix the armhole. You can see it is a little crooked here and we have weird point here. So it should come up like this now. So this will be our final line of armhole. Does this look like a halter to you now? And if you want to make a 1-dart blouse, here you go. Your 1-dart blouse is ready. You can just cut this portion and it would become your 1-dart blouse. But for the princess dart, simply join this with a smooth curve and cut it. So your line would be like this. Before that, there is another thing that needs attention. See, after closing the center front dart, the center front line has bent out. So we have to straighten the center front line. Align your scale with the bottom edge of the center front and just see where it goes. Wherever it goes, mark a straight line. This will reduce the gaping around your neckline and the bust because it is completely closed. Cut this as we no longer require it. I will cut the princess line now. Make sure that there are no weird points. I am adding seam allowances just on the side seam. Rest of my pattern is without any seam allowance. Because our center is straight, you can go up by a 1/4 inch here. Otherwise, you can get a weird point when you join both the darts. Now come down just by 1 block on this dart clip. So now the front part of our halter blouse is ready. We will learn how to draft the back and the collar in part 2. If you thought that this video was helpful, please like, share and comment. Please subscribe to my channel for more of such tutorials. I shall be more than happy to help you. Until then, happy sewing!